What's the YouTube day? Here with zephyr wargames, bring you a test hand video for the legendary 6 samurais. Now the two proxies I've got here and here are both Kagemusha. That's because I have not got my copies yet. They are on their way. I just wanted to get this video out for you guys as soon as I could so you can kind of start learning the deck as you go. So, without further ado, what we'll do is our standard test hands are 3 going first, 3 going second, and we'll show you what 6 Sams can do. They can be very explosive when they want to be, but they can also brick at certain times as well. They're still very, very good. They have a very strong defensive monster and offensive monster in Xian, so we'll see how consistently we can get that guy out. Okay, so starting off going first, this is our opening hand of 5. It's not bad at all, because we do have the ability to pretty much go straight into Xian, I believe. Because what we can do here, get a +2 as well. So we would activate 6 Samurai United. Each time a 6 Sam monster is normal or special summoned, you put a counter on it, maximum 2, and then you get to draw cards, send this to the graveyard and draw that amount of cards depending on the amount of tokens. So what we would do is we would normal summon legendary 6 Samurai Kageki, and then when Kageki is normal summoned, obviously we put a counter on here, he would then special summon a monster from our hand. Now straight away, if we special summon Kagemusha of the 6 Samurai, we've got a tuner level 2 and obviously a level 3 there, and we've got 2 counters on this, so we activate this, send this to the graveyard and +2. Now we've obviously used our normal summon, but we do have Warning, which is a very nice defensive card, and then on top of that we can sync these guys together because they're all warriors, and then it requires 1 warrior and 1 non-tuner 6 Sam monster going into a level 5. That'll go up into the extra monster zone, very defensive there, shutting off your opponent's spells and traps. You then set your Solemn Warning, and that is actually a really nice standard defensive kind of route play in that sense. But going first, we've got an ability to stop one of our opponent's monsters and stop one of their spells or traps. It's very, very cool there. Now obviously if we had one of the new cards in the graveyard, we would then have the ability to protect Xian as well. So that's just another alternative for you guys there. It's very short, very simple. Our first turn kind of defensive boards is ending up with Xian and a couple of alternatives to protect him. And then for our second hands, we want to finish with a Xian, but we also want to have the ability to kind of do as much damage as possible to our opponent. Okay, so our next test hand of 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Still not too bad in that sense as well, because we'll activate Smoke Signal. Now Smoke Signal can get us a level 3 or lower 6 Sam. So basically on this one we want to be playing into Asceticism. It's kind of effect in that sense. So we want to make sure whatever we add has a target in the deck for the Asceticism effect, to kind of push it that way. And then it's basically down to you on where you kind of want to end up with that play. Now obviously if we go in with Fuma, we could then of course turn Fuma, get a Kageki on board, and we can also special summon a Kazan. Then we can Kazan into a Fuma. But I think you're probably better off doing it the other way around. Let me just check my other targets in deck. That's probably the best way of doing it. The strongest way would be to go with Kageki. So search for Kageki, normal summon your Kageki. You could use the Kageki's effect right here to special summon out your Kamuska. Get him on board, and then you've got a tuner on board. A Kagemusha, sorry. Get him on board. Then you've got Asceticism of the 6 Sam. You could use that on Kageki to get into a Fuma, and then you can then special summon out your Kazan. Now obviously in the good old days you could end the board with 2 Xian, which is disgusting. Now obviously Fuma is going to go in the end phase if you do use Asceticism, so you can obviously link if you want to, but then that doesn't leave you with too many options. The best kind of way to go it is the fact that Fuma is going to be leaving in the end phase. You might as well sync it up with Kazan to go into your legendary 6 Sam Xian, and then of course Xian's going to have the protection effect of Fuma in graveyard, plus he can destroy Kageki and Kamusa in the end phase as well, or in the battle phase as well, to protect itself. And then you've got double-edged sword technique as well that can bring back your Kazan and of course your Fuma if you haven't banished Fuma already. Obviously your other alternative, because we've got, I believe they're all Earths and Lights, so we don't actually have the ability to go into the fusion. Yeah, the other option is we did have, we've got well, they're all different levels, to be honest, so your best option is to synchros. You could go into a Nat Beast if you wanted to, you could go into a YUGIOH Guardian, or of course you could go into a Coral Dragon. So it's really which one you think is going to be most effective to you. This is the downside of not having, you know, being in the link format. It's a little bit slower, but it doesn't mean, you know, you could have held off a little bit and not used the asceticism, or you could, you've still got your double-edged sword that can help protect you in your next turn as well. Even if you activate double-edged sword to bring back your any of these monsters that you've sent from graveyard just to protect Shien. So you've got the options there for protection. We've ended up with a Shien or a Nat Beast, entirely up to you which one you want to do. The 6 sound is probably one of the best decks for abusing the Earth tuner kind of plays, with like YUGIOH and of course Nat Beast, because most of their tuners are Earths already. Anyway, our final test down going first will be Kageki. So we've obviously activated our smoke signal, and this can search us out anything we kind of want. Now obviously you want a tuner on this one. You're probably best going into your Kamuska, and then obviously in turn of this you could normal summon your legendary 6 samurai Kageki. Kageki can then special summon out your Kamushka. My tongue is absolutely tired right now. And then on top of that, you then get to special summon out your Kazan. You then get to sync these guys up. You can go into your Nat Beast as well, or you go into your Shien. Your Shien has got additional protection of Kazan. You've got a Twin Twister with an easy Kageki ditch if you want to, and you can kind of play it around that way. Your other option, if you wanted more protection in grave, was rather than getting your Kagamusha, you could smoke signal into the new one Fuma, use Fuma and Kazan to sync up, leaving Kageki on board for the defensive plays, and then you've got a Fuma in graveyard to protect your monsters on top of that. So that is just very, very short, slow, simple intros. Yes, of course, the deck does go off a hell of a lot more when you open up with your dojos and, of course, your gateways. Obviously, that is the downside of your gateways being at 1. Anyway, now let's do our test times going second and show you how much difference that extra card makes, and obviously how more offensive this deck can be. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, straight away we've got a +2. So we will activate our 6 Sam United. Now, it's very, very interesting on this census because ideally you want to normal summon your Kageki. So you're going to normal summon your Kageki regardless. It's now down to Kageki as to what you kind of want in your hand. Now, defensively, I would honestly say you want to go with your Kamuska, get that to board. You've got your pluses off of United. Activate United to draw 2. There's our dojo, double dojo, so that's not too bad at all. Activate both our dojos because we do have the ability to special summon more 6 Sam monsters. So from this one, we would obviously, you can special summon 1 Kazan. Kazan will get a token on token. And then obviously we send this to the graveyard and special summon a 6 Sam or Shien effect monster from a deck whose level is less than or equal to the number of counters on each dojo. So we could then special summon out another Kazan. Kazan then gives these 2, so these have both got 2 tokens. We've got the space for 1 more main monster on this one. You can sync into a Shien if you want. You could link into a Deco Talker. Obviously if you go into a Shien, these will then get another token as well. Obviously we want to try and extend our plays that bit more. So what we're kind of doing here is trying to maintain our census of what we've got on the board. So let me just try and figure this one out. If we link 1, 2 and 3 for a Deco Talker right up here, these obviously still have 2s on it. So if we get rid of 1 dojo and bring ourselves out a Fuma, there we are. That will then go up to 3. We then sync these guys up into our Shien. This then goes up to 4. So we can then use Xian's Dojo. And we can kind of go into whatever you want from here now. In the sense is that we can get more 6 sand monsters on the board if we go with Hatsume, because then we get to banish 2 6 sand monsters from our graveyard and or face up from our field. Target 6 sand in our graveyard, accept itself, and special summon it. So if we go with Hatsume, we can probably get another Shien or another Synchro if we want to, because then what we can do is we can banish 2 6 sand monsters. Obviously you don't want to banish the new ones because they'll give you more protection. Bring back our Kagamuska, sync our Kagamusha up with our Hatsume, and go into a Nat Beast is probably your best defensive play, or you could go into another Shien. But in this census, right, you've got a decode that can negate anything that targets. You've got a Shien that negates a spell or trap. You've got Nat Beast that negates spells continuously, so it means you can save Shien for a trap if you want to. You also have the protection of Shien by banishing Hatsume or Fuma from your graveyard as well. So you really, really do have an incredibly strong board there. And if we're going offensively, we've got a 25, a 33 and a 22 beta monster to kind of help push you through the game and do even more damage to your opponent. So to be totally honest, that's not a bad board to kind of end with or get to. Yes, of course, going second. But we did have that spare 1 card in hand. I'm not saying that that was a great combo because you had to use all cards in hand minus bar 1. But it still ended you with a very, very powerful board that, you know, if you're able to wipe out your opponent's monsters, it leaves your opponent with very little kind of wiggle room, basically. Okay, so our next 6 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, again, it's a very, very interesting kind of hand, in the sense is that ideally you want your normal summon to be Fuma, because then you can special summon 2 Kazans, and in doing so you then get to sync up into a Shien. It's really quite consistent getting into Shien, which is really, really nice. You get your Shien on board, you've got 2500 beta with an 1800 beta behind it. You then get to set your double-edged sword technique and kind of go on from there. You've got Fuma engraved for protection from a card effect. You've got Shien to protect Kazan to protect Shien from battle. You've got double-edged sword technique that can bring these guys back for another Shien next turn. But obviously, you could bring these guys back your next turn, link up into a Decode Talker, and kind of extend your place further that way as well. So again, not, you know, this isn't a spiral deck. This isn't explosive, but it's just consistent. Consistency is very, very nice in the deck. Being able to get into your boss monster relatively easily and consistently now that we've got the new support makes a whole world of difference. So 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we know our dojo is going to get 3 on because we're going to activate our dojo. We're going to normal summon our Kageki. Kageki is then going to special summon our Kagamusha, and then in turn we're going to special summon our Kizan, and dojo is going to end up with 3 tokens. We're then going to activate Dojo's effect if we wish to. Our Dojo effect can get us a level 3 at this moment in time, or of course we could go into a level 4 if we wanted to go into a Shien straight away. So that is where it's entirely up to you. Obviously we do have Soul Charge, so we can extend our plays even further, but because we're going second, we kind of want to do as much damage as we possibly can. So if we then activate Dojo's effect with 3 counters on it to get us out a monster. Now obviously it'd be very, very nice to go in for your Hatsume. That's probably your best one to go with, because Hatsume can then, of course, extend your plays after being brought out. So in that census, you would then go Hatsume. This can basically get you a Decode Talker and a Shien. By linking all 3 of these together to go into your Decode Talker. Then use Hatsume's effect to banish your, let's say, Kageki and Kamusha. Going into, sorry, done that wrong. Banish your Kizan and your Kageki to bring back your Kamushka. Sync up those 2 and go into your legendary 6 Sam Shien. Obviously, if you do want to extend your plays, you can just go Soul Charge, and you can go, you'll be bringing 2 back here, and then you can go into another Shien or a Nat Beast. but obviously we don't want to be doing that because we're going into battle phase. We're going in for a 28 and a 25. And you're kind of doing a bit of damage there, but what you've got to kind of remember is with the 6 Sams is not only do they offer you, they might not be able to, you know, OTKing or showing that they're OTKing, but even after they've built up their board, they're still doing a huge amount of damage, they're still troublesome to get past, and then on top of that, they're providing you with a bit of defensibility during your opponent's turn, especially with Shien. Anyway, that is the test turn video of the legendary 6 Samurai. I hope this helps. I hope this kind of gives you an idea of the way the deck kind of rolls. And gives you, you know, a place to start, basically. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and as always, guys, happy dueling. If you like that video, why not check out our other videos available? We've got more deck profiles, pack openings, and of course duels. And don't forget to click on the most important button of all, that subscribe button, right in the bottom left-hand corner.